Our next topic is a must for the centenary of Fatima. Debbie Workman will speak about the 5 first Saturdays, because too many Catholics are unaware that the Saturdays are in reparation for 5 particular blasphemies.
Devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary is at the very core of the Fatima message. The Blessed Mother presented it as a solution to the problems of the world and to save souls from going to hell. Receptive souls will admit that the world is in spiritual pain. Continual disregard of Fatima's warning will doom generations to spiritual bankruptcy. This is especially true in the disregard for the first Saturday devotions. Our Blessed Mother has given us the means to heal and restore order, harmony, and peace with a simple solution of prayer and penance, and following the first 5 Saturdays' specific instructions. What is the meaning of this devotion? Why should we venerate the Immaculate Heart of Mary? From time immemorial, the heart has symbolized love, the most noble of all sentiments. In relation to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary, it represents the Savior's redeeming love to the point of delivering himself for us and this co-redeeming love. The Immaculate Heart of Mary is also a heart pierced with sorrow. Soon after the joys of her Savior's birth, at the presentation in the temple, the old Simeon, turning to the Mother of God, prophesied, "Behold, this child is set for the ruin and for the fall of many in Israel, and for a sign which shall be contradicted. And thy own soul a sword shall pierce, that out of many hearts thoughts may be revealed." What were the feelings of Mary's heart upon hearing the words of Simeon? They are easily guessed. Her admiration and joy became the manifestation of her son suddenly turns into bitter sorrow. The words, not only about the future of her son, but her own, were clear. But the entire and definitive fulfillment of Simeon's announcement would be realized on Calvary. There, as nowhere else, Christ crucified would be a sign of contradiction. At the foot of the cross, his mother would feel the announced sword in all the fibers of her motherly heart. We find ourselves today in a time where sentiment is dying and relationships between persons are increasingly dominated by brutality, cynicism, self-interest, and sensuality. Just think of abortion. Is this not the most cruel and brutal suppression of the most noble of all affections, which is motherly love? Isn't this love often shortchanged by the attachment for a professional career or a transitory promiscuous relationship? Isn't something similar happening to fatherly love? Isn't this tragic egoism that destroys family relationships and thus the family itself spreading to all other types of human relationships? Thus one understands the Blessed Mother's 1917 prophetic wisdom in Fatima when men would witness the death of sentiment. The remedy for the immense crisis we find ourselves in is devotion to that venerable and most holy heart, capable of restoring true feelings of love, affection, and mercy, and the purity of which our times are so needed. The Immaculate Heart is the source, overflowing with motherly love of the one who is full of grace. On 5 consecutive First Saturdays, one can attend Mass and receive Holy Communion. Several parishes in Wichita offer a morning Mass on First Saturdays. In addition, many rosary groups remain after Mass to recite another 5 decades of the Rosary. The other 2 requirements will take more effort, but are important to the devotion. Finding 15 minutes to spend reflecting on the mysteries of the Rosary and keeping Mary company can sometimes be difficult. Yet this is important in helping one to see Mary's role in our salvation. The heart, open to God, purified by contemplation of God, is stronger than guns and weapons of any kind. Our Lady also asked for reparation to her Immaculate Heart and the following 5 grievances which could be prayed on each decade of the Rosary. Number 1, blasphemies against the Immaculate Conception. 2, blasphemies against Our Lady's perpetual virginity. Number 3, blasphemies against Our Lady's divine maternity and her spiritual motherhood of all mankind. 4, blasphemies of those who seek openly to foster in the hearts of children indifference or contempt and even hatred for this Immaculate Mother. And 5, the offenses of those who directly outrage her in her holy images. The culture of vice and sin remains unabated. Abortion, blasphemy, drug abuse, pornography, divorce and bad marriages, religious indifference, the advances of the homosexual agenda, and others are just some of society's many plagues that cut deeply into the Immaculate Heart of Mary. We must console Our Lady amidst all these insults and injuries to her and her divine Son. She asks for reparation. She pleads for our prayers. She hopes for an amendment of life. Let us listen to her maternal pleas and atone for the ingratitude of men.